CRTV News, nothing but the news.
Lavez-vous les mains avec de l'eau propre et du savon.
Utilisez une solution hydroalcoolique au besoin.
Avoid touching your eyes, your nose, and your mouth.
Toussez au creux du coude.
Évitons de répandre et consommer les fake news sur les réseaux sociaux.
Respectez les dictats sociaux de maître.
Portez un masque de protection si vous êtes malade.
Si vous ne vous sentez pas bien, restez chez vous et appelez au 1510.
Évitez les surcharges dans les transports en commun.
C'est très important.
CRTV News.
Vote count is going on in the different polling stations across the country after 24,000 voters from 2 electoral colleges cast their votes for pioneer regional council members in the country. The 2021 finance bill, which has been adopted at the lower house of parliament, has a 3.3% growth rate and is dedicated largely to infrastructural projects. Plus, sports, a 12-team mini-football tournament dubbed Festive Solidarity has taken off in Yaoundé to buy time for the Cameroon team ahead of the CHAN. Good evening and welcome to the news. I am Benen Bumagana. I am in Yaoundé.
Each of us must comply with the measures that have been taken.
Once again, good evening. Today is the 6th of December. It's a day that we all have been waiting for to talk about regional council elections and the voting in the different parts of the regions. Over in the Northwest, the voting went on hitch-free in the different divisions. Vote counting is going on at the different polling stations and early results will be coming in the following hours. Now, here is Mercy Kusi with a roundup of how it went on today in the Northwest region.
Fonangwa for the 3rd of Mankan, a member of the then Southern Cameroon House of Chiefs, was among the 33 traditional rulers that voted in the Mezam division.
Once we are united, once we work together, we understand our problems and work for solutions, we'll be all right.
Like in the other 6 divisions, the municipal councillors cast their ballots here, feeling satisfied to have been part of the historic exercise.
When you have to be one of the pioneers to do something that is great, I think it's a personal fulfillment. I think I'm so fulfilled today.
The security, we are very comfortable. We look all the councillors here present, shows that they are comfortable.
In Ketunja division, there were 2 lists of the House of Chiefs and the traditional rulers, most of whom are second-class chiefs, are hoping to be upgraded with the coming of the regional House of Chiefs.
And don't worry, in the southwest region, we're getting details from Fako, from Meme and from Dian. Voters from both electoral colleges came out to cast their votes in the first ever regional council elections in Cameroon. From Boyam, Enanga Menyoli tells us that the voting went on in the different divisions. This is her report.
The electorates in Fako division, like those of other divisions of the southwest region, came out in their numbers to cast their votes for the first ever regional elections in Cameroon amidst tight security and COVID-19 barrier measures.
You come to a point where you're entering the regional house, for which we hope our single list is going to win. There's got to be nothing but joy for all of us, for the whole of the region.
The councillors are taking their civic responsibility to its maximum importance, and that everybody has been here. And I think that is the spirit the CPDM party actually is portraying, and I'm very happy that we are respecting that. I'm very happy about the total turnout and what the results actually are going to be.
The scenario was not different in Dian division.
There's a lot of transparency. The process is being followed to the letter. You take your name, you present yourself and your card, and you go to vote. You vote very, very well, like in other elections.
The population of the southwest region is hopeful that this historic election will accelerate the decentralization process as well as local development.
Of course, we go over now to the northwest region where Governor Lele Lafrique went visiting several areas in the region. We surely get an excerpt of the governor. But then also in Lebialem, like we see in the pictures, there was voting going on in the different polling stations in Lebialem. The councillors came out, traditional rulers came out, and all of this happened in the presence of Paul Tassong, who was also there to monitor what was happening right there in Lebialem. I think I talked about the governor of the northwest region who was also visiting different parts of the region today to be sure that everything was going on in serenity. At the end of the visit, he spoke to CRTV's reporter, that is Kilo Valerie Salai. Let's listen to the governor of the northwest.
Much satisfied with the mobilization of both the traditional rulers and the municipal councillors that came massively to vote and to give legitimacy to the resolution arrived at during the major national dialogue that have given a special state. Today, the electors are implementing the special status, giving him a visage, because after the process, they are going soon to elect the chairman of both the divisional councils and the House of Chiefs. I'm therefore very happy to be a witness to that historic moment of the history of our nation. I would like to congratulate, first of all, the electors that mobilized, Elections Cameroon, the political party that rallied the electors, and the security service that make it possible for us to be here without any hitch today in Bamenda.
Excellency, talking about the security situation, what special measures have been taken to protect?
Yes, you have seen the measures that has been taken. I don't want to describe them to you. You saw them yourself. There is, as of today, no major incident that occurred to derail the electoral process. The campaign went on very well, and we are happy today that yes, things are going well here, but I'm also going to assess the situation in other divisions of the region, and maybe at the evening we can assess the global situation of the region today.
We'll be getting more stories coming in from the northwest region and the southwest region as far as the voting of this day is concerned. But now let us get over to the far north region, where over 1,000 electors from 2 electoral colleges in the far north region voted in serenity at the different polling centers in Marwa. Elecam officials and administrative authorities have rated the poll as satisfactory. Our far north regional correspondent Ayuk Jonashu tells us more from Marwa.
A serene environment, security-wise, at the government bilingual high school Marwa polling center for voters in Jamare division. Over 1,000 traditional rulers voted for either of the two lists in contest in the electoral college in 10 polling stations. Meanwhile, 261 delegates from the CPDM, NUDP, and the CNSF, in coalition with the ANDP, cast their votes in 3 polling stations.
I have accomplished my mission of citizen, and I know that the coalition will win.
We are very, very optimistic to the victory for our party, the CPDM.
The governor of the Far North region made a stopover at the polling center in Jamare.
As far as security is concerned, information coming from the entire region is that all what concerns vote is secure.
In like manner, Njipendi Salifu, board member of Elections Cameroon, expressed satisfaction with the conduct of the polls. The competing parties can for now content themselves with the result trends pending the publication of the official results.
And over at the Ministry of Territorial Administration, the officials of the ministry were closely following the votes. And later on this evening, the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Tanganji, was speaking to pressmen. Let's listen to an excerpt of his declaration.
The election of regional councillors convened by presidential decree of 7 September 2020 took place today, Sunday, 6th December, in all 58 electoral constituencies. 10,236 municipal councillors and 14,002 traditional rulers, members of the electoral colleges, were called upon to vote 900 first regional councillors in the political history of our country. The first, that is municipal councillors, were to vote 700 divisional delegates, while the latter, traditional rulers, were to elect 200 representatives of traditional chiefdoms. For this election, the Minister of Territorial Administration granted accreditations to 3,457 observers who freely went nationwide. We are now waiting for their reports. In compliance with the regulations in force, the poll started in the 272 polling stations at 8 p.m. and ended at 6 p.m. Considering the fact that election is held in a special context marked by the COVID-19 pandemic, Elections Cameroon took important precautions in each polling station for the respect of barrier measures in compliance with government's health protocol, i.e., taking of temperature, use of hand sanitizers, wearing of face masks, social distancing, and washing of hands. In its capacity as government's agent in the electoral process, the Minister of Territorial Administration and administrative authorities provided optimum security to Elections Cameroon, independent body in charge of the entire electoral process. From the opening of the voting station to closing at 6 p.m., administrative authorities gave a minute-by-minute report of the process in all the electoral constituencies in Cameroon. At this moment, the Minister of Territorial Administration can say in clear terms that the election of regional councillors took place nationwide in a serene, calm, and peaceful atmosphere. No incident likely to cast doubt on the credibility of the polls or the sincerity of the results from the ballot box was recorded. This is an opportunity for the Minister of Territorial Administration to commend once again the irreversible choice of the head of state, His Excellency President Paul Biya, who has always instructed the speeding up of the decentralization process in Cameroon. The Minister of Territorial Administration would also like to sincerely thank the head of state who provided all needed means to all election stakeholders to ensure hitch-free elections today. The head of state has often insisted on the significance of boosting the decentralization process, the advantage of which we all know is to guarantee the development of Cameroon by granting to all the regions of the country equal opportunities for their development. The proclamation of results of this election will start as from today by the Regional Supervisory Commission. In conformity with the legal provisions in force, the session as of right shall meet shortly to elect regional organs. The putting in place of the Regional Council will establish the special status for the Northwest and Southwest regions, a strong recommendation of the major national dialogue convened by the head of state, His Excellency President Paul Biya, and presided over by the Prime Minister, head of government. As such, the House of Chiefs shall be the exclusive specificity of the Northwest and Southwest regions. As a matter of fact, no local election will ever raise such enthusiasm and passion. The reason is simple. The election of regional councillors today has come to complete the setting up of institutions provided by the Constitution of our country. This election will bring the administration closer to the people and guarantee to each region development in the sense that citizens at all levels sit in regional councils and participate effectively from the base to in the construction destiny. It is therefore a historic opportunity that is open to our country with this election of regional councillors. Obviously, we will have losers and winners, as the case may be in any election. But for the head of state, His Excellency President Paul Biya, it is rather Cameroon that is the great winner in this process, which establishes the setting up of regional councils and regional organs. Today's winners must always solicit the confidence of losers, and the losers must exercise good faith by putting the interests of Cameroon above any personal or partisan interest. Once again, the election of regional councillors has shown the maturity of the sovereign people of Cameroon and masters of their destiny, which has just demonstrated more than ever before that political legitimacy is obtained through the ballot box and not by street protests or on social media. The election of regional councillors today will be a landmark in the current mandate of greater opportunities. Under the enlightened leadership of the tireless builder, His Excellency President Paul Biya, the future of Cameroon is bright. We should all take advantage. Once again, I'm declaring that today's election went on in total calm, serenity, and transparency throughout the national territory. Thanks for your kind attention.
Of course, that is the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Tanganji, giving the statement after the votes today. Now let's get over to Douala, where in the littoral region, vote counting is going on in most of the polling stations, and without giving figures, the balance is weighing more on the side of the CPDM party. Let's go over to the littoral for updates with Rene Kache.
It is election day in Douala, no doubt. But for many city dwellers, it is a Sunday like any other, especially for non-voters. From the early hours of the morning, some went as usual to their different places of worship, others to their marketplaces to either buy or sell, while others went for physical exercises. At the Boulevard Amadou Ahijo in Akwa in the Douala 1 municipality, passing through the central market in New Bell, Bona Prizo, Bonalea to Bonaberry and Logbaba, a few shops remain closed, but the population go about their characteristic Sunday occupation. Sunday being a meeting day for various families and other groupings, tradition has once again been respected. Nevertheless, general attention is focused on the Lycée Jos in Bonanjo, where 267 municipal councillors and 69 traditional rulers of the Vuri division assembled to exercise their civic responsibility to elect the first regional councillors in the history of the Republic of Cameroon.
So we are waiting Rene Kache. But now let's get over to to Elections Cameroon. I hear Kilian Difon is standing by at Elections Cameroon. Kilian, what is the update? The Elecam officials have been very, very busy. So what is happening there this evening?
Good evening, Ben and Buma Ghana. Good evening to all our viewers in Cameroon and around the world. The situation here, as you rightly said, has been busy. We are moving from the situation room where every bit of what has been happening in the country, 58 divisions and the centralization commission here in Lekam has been taking and putting all that information together to a makeshift set here where we have the Director General of Elections of Lekam, Dr. Eric Isuse, who is going to give us what has been coming in from all the divisions. You know, Elections Cameroon is the independent body in charge of elections in Cameroon. He is right here. We're going to listen to his declaration. The honor is yours, Mr. Director General.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, voting operations of the election of regional councils have just come to end in the 272 polling stations, comprising 117 for the College of Municipal Councils and 155 for that of traditional rulers, set up across the national country. 24,241 electors composed of 10,236 municipal councils and 14,005 traditional rulers voted in a contest marked by calm, order, discipline, and observation of preventive measures against the COVID-19 prescribed by government. In accordance with the law, polling stations were opened at 8 prompt and closed at 6 p.m. All the election material and documents were made available in sufficient quantity in the polling stations, and the local polling commissions were all at work. No major incident was reported to my office across the national territory. The local commissions are now counting the votes, after which they will fill the election reports and forward them to the different regional supervisory commission. This commission will then centralize, compile the votes, and verify the vote counting operations using the election reports forwarded by the local polling commissions. Moreover, they will proclaim results of the election of regional councils at the level of the constituency concerned, no later than 72 hours as of the close of the polls. I would like to take this opportunity to express my satisfaction for the successful material organization of this election. In this regard, I wish to congratulate the entire staff of Elections Cameroon and all members of Electoral Board, who mobilize as usual to meet the challenge of this organization in view of completing the decentralization process through the putting in place regional councils and regional executives. I am also grateful to all stakeholders to the electoral process for their total commitment that contributed to the success of this election. Political parties, traditional rulers, the administration, security forces, the media, civil society organizations, members of electoral commissions, national and international election observers accredited for this election. My final thanks go to government, which put at the disposal of election all the means necessary for the organization of this election, the first of its kind in our country. Good luck to all, and may the best win. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're getting updates there coming from Lekam. This time, let's get over to the West region, precisely in Chang, where vote counting exercise is on the way after the electorate of the regional council elections cast their votes without any major incidents. In the following report, Chancellor Nanzi tells us how the exercise unfolded in that part of the country. Her report.
In the Mifi division, voting started at exactly 8 a.m. The political parties in competition in this division were the CPDM and the CDU, and all of the councillors voted, among them those who had no candidate in the election. For the Kunki division, the heads of the two lists of traditional rulers voted in the afternoon. 91 of the 94 traditional rulers cast their vote, while 83 of the 86 municipal councillors voted. COVID-19 barrier measures were scrupulously respected and security was ensured. The governor of the West region, Awafonka Augustine, stopped by the Mifi polling station in GBHS Bafusam and by the Kunki polling station in Lycée Classique Banjul. Counting started at exactly 6 p.m.
Well, let's come back to Yaoundé and see what is happening in today's vote. 146 traditional rulers voted at the Charlatangana Government Technical High School in Cameroon's historic regional election. Polls opened exactly 8 a.m. and the exercise unfolded hitch-free to the satisfaction of the voters and observers who came out to monitor the election. Constantine Baum was at the Charlatangana Government Technical High School polling center and pieced the following report.
It will go down in the history books of this college that traditional rulers of Fundi division voted here for the first ever regional election. The first noticeable thing is security measures taken to make sure the election unfolds hitch-free. By 6 a.m., all key stakeholders were present, and one could see the supervisors giving directives on what has to be done in terms of welcoming the voters and facilitating the process. This is an election taking place during a historic health crisis which has affected other elections in the world. The necessary measures to reduce the risks of voters and election officials contracting COVID-19 have been respected. The reason why there are 2 polling stations to take care of 146 voters. His Royal Highness Joseph Amogu Owuna was the first traditional ruler to vote.
I'm very satisfied. I'm very happy to do my job. We think everything is put in place for this election. I've observed their materials, all is okay.
I think that it's okay. All is okay.
The polling station started on time. They have been respecting all the sanitary measures, and I believe everything is moving on smoothly.
The election too is getting both national and international media attention because it is an election which is said will fast-track and deepen Cameroon's decentralization process.
And this time, national and international election observers today played a primordial role in making sure that the first ever regional elections in Cameroon went on hitch-free. Ewane Pole followed one of the international observers in some polling stations in Yaoundé this Sunday. This is his report.
Batil Wami, one of the international election observers, arrived at the government primary school Bastos polling station early this Sunday morning.
I came this morning to make sure that all voting material are available and put in place.
Both national and international observers, the civil society and election officials, as well as representatives of political parties, could be identified with their badges. Batil Wami moved around the different halls of the polling station to make sure that there is no electoral malpractice.
We have also created a WhatsApp group to exchange information. Our colleagues are in Gaoundéré and other regions.
The election observer, Batil Wami, also visited the Charlatangana polling station where she met other observers, ensuring that the first ever regional elections in Cameroon goes on hitch-free.
Away from regional council elections now, let's talk other things. The 2021 state budget, which projects a growth rate of 3.3%, seeks to complete the implementation of major infrastructural projects. Amongst them is the provision of road infrastructure, equal access to education, improved supply of water and energy, and guarantee security of people and their goods. In the following report, Esther Kima presents the sectors with the highest budgetary allocations for next year.
With a state budget of 4,865.2 billion CFA francs, the Ministry of Public Works, with the lion's share, has 464.8 billion to advance road development.
424 kilometers of road will be done. We will also complete the first section of the Yaoundé highways under construction.
Emphasis is also laid in the secondary education sector, where 386.9 billion will be spent on encouraging distant learning education and the Clean School campaign.
We had never done distance education at the secondary level. It's very important. I have to train the teachers.
With the third largest budget of 245.9 billion, the Ministry of Defense will improve the operational units of the armed forces. The water and energy deficits across the nation will be addressed with 226 billion.
We are going to commission the transmission line between Mvele Dams and Yaoundé. We are going to start rehabilitation of scan water.
Meanwhile, in health, 171.9 billion will ensure disease control and the effective implementation of the universal health coverage.
We are going to increase our action as far as the mortality of our children is concerned.
The lawmakers remain hopeful that the state keeps to its commitments in 2021.
The government of Cameroon has insisted that the prevention of the circulation of small and light weapons is one of the surest means to ensure sustainable peace in Africa. External Relations Minister Mbela Mbela today echoed the point of view of the President of the Republic at the close of the African Union Summit. Focus today was on silencing these guns chaired by the AU and South African President Cyril Ramaphosa. Charles Ebune reports.
This country is part of the continental strategy to tame the over 100 million small and light weapons in Africa, about 45 million of them circulating illegally. In this regard, without any engagement taken, Cameroon is examining the possibility for the creation of an agency to follow up activities for the silencing of guns initiative in Africa. About 2 months ago, Cameroon hosted the African Amnesty Month, part of the Silencing the Guns initiative this year in Africa. My country has always supported all multilateral tools for disarmament and non-proliferation. The head of state has instructed the government to ensure such engagements on the control and reduction of arms are respected. At the African Union Summit today, weapons circulation was identified as one of the engines fueling terrorism and conflict expansion across the borders. Cameroon continues to back continental efforts for peace and security, such as the Continental Standby Force, whose logistical headquarters is based here and is an important instrument. The start of the African Continental Free Trade Area commercial transactions next January 1 was one of the other issues addressed at the virtually held summit.
The Cameroon ambassador to Tunisia, Samuel Eyobo, has thanked President Paul Biya for his appointment. The new ambassador was speaking to CRTV shortly after his appointment by presidential decree was read over national radio. Here's an excerpt of his gratitude edited by Charles Ebune.
First of all, my sentiment, I'm happy. The whole family behind you there is also happy. And we want to say thank you very much to the head of state for this appointment. I was in the village. I went to the village last Tuesday. And since the village is far from here, I arrived there Wednesday morning. So Wednesday evening, my house here was enjoying, and my wife called me saying that the head of state has appointed me as an ambassador in the Republic of Tunisia.
Congratulations, Mr. Ambassador. Now let's talk sports. 12 football teams have started a mini tournament known as Festi Solidarité at the CAF Excellence Center in Bankomo. The tournament is organized against the backdrop of no football championship in the country, though the country is getting set to host the African Nations Championship, the CHAN, with Cameroon participating. Daniel Ekonde reports from Bankomo.
Once again, football is back on the pitch. Not a regular tournament, but at least month-long football to keep 12 professional teams busy in the absence of a football league.
So I think that is a good opportunity to the team to prepare the new season, and for the national team, APRIM, intermediary selection, under 13, to prepare their international competition. Donc I think it's a good opportunity to the coaches to see their players and then improve them in this competition.
One of the teams engaging in the Festi Solidarité are the Under-20 Lions of Cameroon, who are getting ready for the regional UNIFAC tournament to take place this December in Equatorial Guinea. The event, which ends on January 10, will also have the Intermediate Lions take part.
Thank you very much for following up with this edition of the newscast. At 8:30, Lucas Mbenga will be here. But I'll be right back with Emero Bebina for a special election night in Cameroon. Keep watching CRTV. The best is here.
In this connection, we should avoid stigmatizing.
CRTV News, ici, toute l'info.
Formé au Cameroun, j'ai joué à Puma Football Club et dans le Cameroun de Yaoundé. Mon rêve a toujours été de voir une grande compétition se jouer sur le sol camerounais. Venez nombreux vivre les moments inédits du football africain.
Total African Nations Championship Cameroon 2020.
Le Cameroun célèbre le talent sportif africain. Du 16 janvier au 7 février 2021, dans les sites de Yaoundé, Fandena, Douala, Bepanda, Douala, Japoma et Limbe, Bouéa.